everybody, and welcome to another game night date night. And we are now on episode 7. So, this series is in collaboration with Games and Couples who do amazing things. Mainly, they concentrate on doing counselings, and their couple counseling utilizes a lot of board game as a tool to have couples, deal with issues or kind of have a way to come together and spend some quality times no matter where they're at in their relationship. And one of the things that they've done is they've created a rating system specifically for selecting games for a couple. This rating system rates games on 3 aspects, but keep in mind 1 is not bad and 5 is not good. It just depends on where you are as a couple. The first thing that they rate on is for conversation and connection potential. So some games have a lot going on. Actually, games like Chronicles of Crime, where you're kind of actively going through the story, trying to solve a crime. You don't have time to hold a conversation as you play. There's a crime to solve here. While some other games are a little bit more low-key, it's a little bit more relaxed, and you can kind of catch up with each other while playing the games. So that would be kind of the range. And depending on where you are, maybe this is a time of day where you guys reconnect with each other, or maybe things have been tense and you're trying to avoid bringing up conversation because things can flare up easily. The next thing that they rate on is on getting to know you. Some games are very much kind of you do your own thing, they do their own thing, and you're playing your own board, and there's very little interaction. While other ones, there's a lot more going on. You're kind of learning from your partner as you're playing the game, and that would have a higher score in that case. And I mean, after COVID, a lot of people who do mostly during COVID kind of ended up having to spend more time with each other. Maybe you're kind of learning who your partner is all over again, or maybe it's a newer relationship, or maybe you guys have been together so long that that's not a big concern, like you know each other well, so that's not something that you're really concerned about. And that's on this one. The last thing that they rate on is for potential for hurt feelings and conflict. Let's face it, most board games is kind of a battle to become the winner. This is where, having a rating can help. So some games are more cooperative, or there's a lot less conflict, so you have a low rating. Some games can be mean, can have a lot of take that elements, and can have a higher rating in there. And depending on where you are as a couple, maybe things are tense, so you want to try to keep this level on a lower level, or maybe you're trying to work on conflict resolution, and this is a great controlled environment to do so. Now at Games and Couples, we have been doing the game of the week. So every week we talk about a different game and kind of go through this rating system. So in this series, I talk in a little bit more detail for each game. The first one that we had this month was, let me get out of the way here, was Illusion. Now, Illusion is a small card game, and it is such a neat looking game. So each card has these weird artwork, and they're all made out of primary colors, but it's just, sometimes it's letters, sometimes it's big shapes, sometimes there's just a little bit of colors on there, and it's all kind of a mixed match of all these colors. And what happens is you'll flip over a card that is an arrow, and it kind of tells you, okay, so you want to put it in order from the least to the most of red, let's say. So then you would have a card and you put it down, and then you have, like, each turn you take a card and you add it to this scale and trying to find out where it would fit as to how much, red is on each of these cards. And then on your turn, you can either add another card to this row, or you can be like, I think there's a mistake. And then on the back of these images, you have the percentage of each colors on the card. And you would kind of start from the lowest one and start flipping over and see if it continues in adjacent order and kind of going from smallest to biggest. And if there's a mistake, then you win that round and you get to keep the arrow card as a point. If you called that there was a mistake and turns out there wasn't, then the person that just played the card gets the points instead of you. Very simple game, a lot of fun, and it's just kind of a neat puzzle. For conversation and connection potential, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. You can, this is not a very action-packed game is just looking at the card, adding it to the row so you could hold a conversation while playing this game. Getting to know you, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. It's going to be like, I don't know. I think this one has more red, so you put it there. Like, there's very little to learn from each other out of this. I mean, like, I guess you could find out if your partner is colorblind, because this might not be the most colorblind friendly game. But otherwise, I don't think it's a big revealing game per se. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 1 out of 5. This isn't a game that kind of triggers hurt feelings all that much. So I think this one kind of gets a low rating. Let me just show you another picture here. This is a picture of the game last I had played it. So if you look in the next to the question mark card, those are the arrows. So you flip it over. Right now we're doing blue. So starting from lowest, like from the least to the most blue in the card. And you'll notice the one with the squares, there's one of the squares blue, then you have the flowers that has some petals showing underneath, and then you have the other one with like the open flowers that has a little bit more blue, and then so you're trying to put it in order where you think which card has the most blue, which one has the least blue. And then if at any time you think there's a mistake, you can call it and then flip them over. And then you look at the bottom of the screen there, you see the cards and it shows the percentage of each color, so you can kind of see if there has been a mistake. Very neat, simple game. It plays quick, but it's a lot of fun. The next game we showcased this month was Star Realms. Star Realms is by far my most played deck building game. This normally plays best, in my opinion, as 1 versus 1. It's space themed, but there is also Hero Realms, which is more fantasy themed, that plays exactly the same. And you just have your starting cards, and the cards will either allow you to purchase new cards or to attack the other player. And you're going about purchasing new cards, trying to make your hand a little bit stronger. Cards will be either spaceship or space stations. Now, if you play a space station, that's going to go on the table in front of you, and that stays in place until it is destroyed. Some of them will protect you where they cannot hit you unless they destroy the space station first, and some of them aren't necessarily protecting you. And then it's whoever last man standing, right? So you just kind of play trying to hit your partner until they are dead. You can buy cards that have different factions on it, and if you have when you play multiple of the same faction, you can activate extra abilities. It's a really neat game. It's one that I enjoy quite a bit. Now, in the rating system for conversation and connection potential, I'm giving this one a 2 as you're kind of looking at your cards, because you can start looking at your card the moment the other player starts their turn, so you kind of see and you can plan your move. So by the time your turn comes along, you've had plenty of time to kind of plan what you want to do. So that does allow a little bit more time to have a conversation. It's not like crucial or you're not so busy in the game all the time. Getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. It's interesting to see how your partner is going to play. Are they going to try to go for one faction, trying to build up that? Or are they one to try to, kind of go for more on the defense side? Or they go more for the attack and show no mercy type of thing? So it can be interesting to see how they'll play. In hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. This is a battle game, so that can trigger some hurt feelings, but it is a battle game, so that's what you should be expecting will be happening in a way. But there's still, potential for hurt feelings in this game, so I'm giving that one a 3 out of 5. And this is a picture of the game. Now, with these in my hand, there was pretty much all scouts and then one attack card. This is at the beginning of the game, so they're all the basic cards. In the middle, you'll see there'll be some cards flipped up that are available for purchase. And you just kind of keep playing, building your deck. When you run out of cards in your deck, you take your discard pile, shuffle everything up, and then you kind of start again, and then you buy more and more cards as you go. Now, the next game that we talked about during the month of August is Bob Ross Art of Chill. This game is surprisingly good. It's really neat because you're making paintings, and all the painting in this game are actual Bob Ross paintings, and there are tons of them. And the goal is to pick up some paint, put the paints onto your palette, have the proper brush so that you can take the paints from the palette with this brush and paint an element of the painting, either, wondrous mountain or fluffy clouds or happy little tree. The flavor text in this game is just simply amazing. Each round, you roll the dice. If the Bob Ross figure comes up, then you flip a chill card, and then it'll tell you what a special thing that's happening that round. And then you move the Bob Ross figure across the painting. You're trying to get these elements painted before the painting is done, and as well before Bob Ross does certain things, will give you bonuses. If you're the first one to paint the element and all the painters, that'll give you a bonus as well. It is such a fun, neat game, which is surprising to look at this game. You just don't really expect that it will be. For conversation and connection potential, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. It's a fairly straightforward, simple game, so you can hold a conversation while you play. Getting to know you, I'm going to give this one, again, a 2 out of 5, just because it is such a simple game. It's kind of simple decisions to do, so it's not really something you're going to have a lot of opportunities to discover about your partner from the game. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 1 out of 5. It's in the title. This game is chill. And I mean, the worst thing is could be like, oh, good, there's orange. I need orange paint. Oh, no, you took the orange paint. Okay, well, I guess I'll go for blue paint. So it's not one that would kind of trigger a lot of hurt feelings, but it's a great game. And here's a picture of the game last time I played. So each player has a little palette that you put the paint on, and you can have 2 sets of paint. If at any time you were kind of collecting paint to do an element of the painting, but the painting is completed, then it'll switch to a new painting. If you don't have the proper paint on your palette, one other thing is to wash off your palette and take the paint out. Very neat game. So cool. I really enjoy this one. And then the next game we talked about was Dice Command. Dice Command is such a neat, compact little game, but it's so thematic. And the artwork is cool, and everything is so very army-based, right? But it comes in the box, and you open the box, and there's 2 little boxes that's made to look like little crates, and then you open that up, and inside these little box is like a barracks, and then you can see like the sleeping cots in there, and it's all very thematic, very army themed, and it looks amazing. And this is a fairly simple game where you are rolling the dice, and the dice are your infantry. So if you're 1, 2, 3 is going to be a light infantry, and it can move a little faster. 3 to 6 is a heavy, 4 to 6 is a heavy infantry, so they only move 1 at a time. If you roll double, you can stack those, and now they're armored vehicles, so they're a little bit more protected. And the goal is trying to get 4 of your units behind enemy lines. And then has kind of like a dice worker placement aspect to it. So you have the different cards that you can put your dice to activate or to send your dice into battle. And it is neat. It is a fun game. I really enjoy playing this one. I just recently got it, so I'm excited to play it a little bit more. But it's just kind of a neat trying to sneak past, and then I enjoyed it. Now, conversation, connection potential. You know what? There's some stuff going with it, but I just found when we played it that there was a lot of opportunity to hold a conversation anyways. So I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5, because you roll your dice and you just kind of place your dice and you activate the actions, and then it's not a hectic game. You have your time to do, kind of pick what you want to do, so you can definitely hold a conversation as you're playing. Getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. It's interesting to see if your partner is going to concentrate on upgrading their cards so that they can do things at a cheaper cost and more efficiently, or if they tend to go for the bigger units, even though it's going to be slower, if they tend to go for more for agility and just the tactics that they're going to pick. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. It's fairly neutral. This is a battle game. It's one-on-one. You're trying to get by, and you might just be close to getting to the back of the line, and they're going to destroy your unit. That's just what the game is, but that doesn't mean it can't be frustrating. And let me show you a wider picture of this. So each player gets one of those little boxes with the little army cots in it, and that's where you keep your dice, and you have extra dice that are available to hire And then if you do so, then you can put them in the box. So to show that those are the dice you have access to. You can do some research so that you can upgrade your different actions that you can do. You can deploy, you can do extra moves. You can hire new units so that you'd have more dice to roll. There's a bunch of different things that you can do. And if you notice there's the little dog tag, that's the first player marker. As I mentioned, the attention to detail in this game was great and I really enjoyed it. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. My Instagram account is Mels_boardgame_room, as well as Games and Couples. On Facebook, my Facebook page is Mel and Friends Board Game Room. And then there's Games and Couple Love in the Age of Board Game. And then on YouTube, my YouTube channel is Mel's Board Game Room. And then there's also Games and Couple Love in the Age of Board Game. So be sure to tune in next month to see which game got showcased in the month of September. So bye, everybody.